Everything's recording, Nick.
Cool.
It's all set.
Shall I begin? Shall we begin?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Got to wet the old whistle. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Marvel Multiverse Mayhem.
Craziness with Moon Knight, who's,
Yes.
crazy.
We're doing episode 2 of Moon Knight, which came out yesterday, titled Summon the Suit, which is a phrase used quite a bit in the episode.
And you're skipping stuff already.
What am I? That well,
we got to introduce the network and everything. Nick,
that was
just
the
started
intro. That was the intro. I'm here with Kyle, as always. You can either see us or you can recognize our voices because it might be our first episode. If so, welcome. We are brought to you by Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. And you rattle off all the podcast stuff.
You guys check out the Genreverse Podcast Network wherever you get your podcasts from, as well on YouTube. Lots of great shows. We'll go over those a little bit later, and of course we're here because of LRMonline.com. So yeah, check all that out.
Yay! So I guess now we can jump right into Summon the Suit.
Yeah, sure.
So last week you were a little concerned. You didn't enjoy the first episode super, right?
No,
much,
I
right?
did. I said I liked.
I think I ranked it higher than you.
You did that. I said I think other people will have some issues with it, and I don't know. It seems to be doing okay. It's not getting like rave reviews online, but it's doing okay.
It has the viewers 1.8, which is bigger than most, but not all of the Marvel shows so far.
Mm-hmm.
I think that puts it above Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and even Loki, and definitely
I guess.
I don't know. I saw that news report. I should have had it in front of me, but I do.
I don't pay attention to the streaming numbers because they're not.
Could be all bullshit.
Yeah, you can't trust them, and not only that, but you have there's lots of stuff that goes into it, anyways.
And I'm responsible for most. Hold on, I wasn't responsible for most of that because I watched the first episode 3 times, and I've already watched the second episode 2 times. Only because I watch it drunk the first time because I'm awake at like midnight or 1 a.m. on West Coast rather, and then I had to watch the next day to remember all of it because I was drunk. And then my roommate's gonna want to watch it tonight because he loved the first episode. In fact, he kept asking me all week if we could watch it. I'm like, it's not out, dude. It's not. It's a weekly show. We can't just. But yes, Kyle.
The days of binging are over, man.
Yeah. What were your thoughts?
Great episode. A lot of the world building taken care of. Lots of changes from the comic book, but not in a bad way. I know some people will be like, no, it's not the same, but I dug it a lot, man. I like Oscar Isaac in this role. I like his Mark Spector bit, and there's a lot of things that I think are a lot of imagery in this. I think is going to come into play in the insane asylum, and the idea that Steven is the primary and not Mark might not be. I think that might be a false lead. I'd actually kind of be upset if. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna leave it at that. It's weird. There's a lot of stuff going on here, and not in a MCU connect the dots weird. I just mean because of the subject matter and who and what Moon Knight is in this iteration, which is the Jeff Lemire. I always want to pronounce it like some French name for some reason.
Lemire.
But because of he gets his name at the end of the credits and all that, it's a little bit about where this is going. The best thing of course was Mr. Moon's appearance. Very
just Mr.
different.
Moon, not Mr. Moon Knight.
Yeah, it's just Mr. Moon.
Isn't he a third personality in the comics, or
he's just another
like is he Mark in the comics?
No. It's just different. It's just different. That's the best way I can describe it. You'd have to read the arc, because who is in control of what and which version of the Moon Knight, you know, Khonshu's avatar, if you will. It's just different. Also, so while they made Mr. Moon still pretty powerful, he obviously inherits, you know, this version of Steven's goofiness, which I like. It played well. I was kind of hoping.
Skill.
Yeah, I was
kind of. He does need to have Moon Knight take over.
Right. I was kind of hoping for a bit more of a bad at, like he'd get some swag, but there's some time for that. Hopefully Mr. Moon doesn't end up with a little bit of some swagger to him, a little bit of you know, badassness, not just strength, but, you know, legit suaveness to him. And always read him as kind of like that business enforcer, like the enforcer for the mobster, but not a bad guy. Anyways, I like it a lot. Better than the first episode, but not that the first episode was bad.
That was gonna be my first question: is if you liked it better or worse. So yeah, because that's what I wrote in the article. Like that, I've already prepared. Like, did they like it more, or is the show careening off a cliff? I liked it equally. There's nothing in it that would make me like it more than the last one, and nothing in it that would make me like it less than the last one. It's been great so far. I've been recommending it to a lot of people who don't even watch Marvel, because it's like every other show, you need to know the MCU really well to understand what's happening in WandaVision or like Loki. And this is like, doesn't matter at all so far. Like nothing matters. This is its own. It is part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I'm sure he'll cross over with characters eventually. But this is, you know, Moon Knight's own area.
I don't know if he'll cross. Dude only got a single show contract, so.
Yeah, but you know, I bet he shows up. Like I said, my guess is he'll show up in Werewolf by Night. That's what it's called, right?
Yeah,
because that was his first introduction, which is why people want to see Wolverine introduced in a Wolverine Hulk movie in the MCU, because his first appearance was a Hulk comic. But I loved it. Again, like I said, no better, no worse. Mr. Moon was really, really cool. I loved what it's like, not that suit. Like, what are you doing? He's like, I summoned the suit, man. And then like he's all cocky at first, then he gets kind of his ass kicked. And then my favorite part about this, okay, I've already compared it to Fight Club, which is obvious. He goes to sleep, someone else wakes up in the same body and does stuff like ask people out on dates and eat meat and stuff like that. Him fighting something no one else could see was incredibly Fight Club too. Like when Tyler Durden is, the narrator's fighting Tyler Durden in the parking garage, and you see all the pictures from the security cameras where it's just him throwing himself around.
Yep.
The show just keeps getting more and more like Fight Club. And that's where I feel like most of the humor in this episode came from, was watching it every time. Because most of the time they shot it, unless it was actual Moon Knight at the end being chased. Most of the shots don't include the CGI monster.
The monster, yeah.
It's just like the wife getting held up, and then like him like punching someone invisible and getting like thrown into like a bus. And
yeah,
and the villain.
And they even show the security camera stuff with him going through something similar.
At first,
the camera doesn't pick anything up.
I didn't, because going into the episode at the beginning, you're like, oh, does the camera not pick it up, or can only he see it?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, only he can see this shit. So I'm surprised those things aren't summoned more often to fuck up other people, unless that's how people are dying. When he holds their hands, a jackal like kills them from behind.
Well, no.
He would have seen the first one. Never mind. He would have seen a jackal in the first episode.
I think
bad theory, Nick.
The life out of them.
So what were your other highlights?
Besides Mr. Moon, which is something I've been looking forward to seeing for a while, man. Just kind of getting into the world here. Khonshu is a bit of an ass even in the comic books.
Yeah, and totally.
They're laying it on a little thick early here. but it's also because we only get like six episodes. So Khonshu is definitely one of my favorite aspects of it. I like what they're doing because it's similar in the comic books, but it was a bit of a slower burn. You kind of like get used to this. Oh man, it'd be great. I wish Khonshu would offer me to be the Moon Knight. Oh no, I don't want that. I don't want that deal. I don't want to. No. So that it's probably a lot of the like world building in this. And then similar to you, I liked how they were. And some people might not even get that they're trying to show you. It kind of works because you can save money in the production as well, but it legit works and seems to be a creative choice, not a money saving choice. Although I'm sure they were happy to save some money. And then
sometimes those are related. Like Jaws, the shark wasn't working. They didn't show it. You got a better movie than if the shark was working.
Yeah, but then everyone and their mother's like, oh, it's so much better if you don't see the monster. No, it was better a few times to not see the monster. But trust me, as a horror fan, seeing the monster fucking matters. But
oh yeah, no, I'm not comparing it to Jaws in that way. I'm just like we've seen him. We saw him immediately come out of the ground, and then they're playing it for humor and to save a little bit of money.
And then well, no, I think they're playing it to build into that whole is he not crazy thing. Sure, you see her get lifted up, but is that something he's seeing, or did she really get we'll see.
Ooh,
and then of course the big Moon Knight, full suit Moon Knight, if you will, Mark Spector Moon Knight, and he's able to pull extra ones off his chest, which is badass.
And they come back
I like that. Yeah,
not just because like there's flipping back like a batarang, just because it's like the bad guy's dead, whoop, back in the chest.
I dug it. I like the aesthetic a lot.
I love the lore that's established here about Khonshu, how they're basically a slave to him, and then he'll move on to the next person. Because I believe, I know he's a bad guy, but I believe the villain when he says he's just gonna finish up with you and you'll be fucked like me and I'll move on to the next person. Like he's like, you really think that's his last mission? Like it's almost like a buddy cop movie where it's like, I'm retiring tomorrow, Riggs. And it's like, no, you aren't. You got 4 sequels, bitch. 3 sequels. 4 actually. I think they are making Lethal Weapon 5 eventually because Mel Gibson
5 already happened. I thought they were doing a 6th.
There hasn't been a 5th Lethal Weapon yet. Sony made 5, 6, and 7 and 8, but that's on its own. Sony. Yeah, I love the idea. I also love the reverse ideas of Khonshu and I wrote her name down. The Ahmed.
Ahmed. Yeah.
And I love the dichotomy, and it's almost a Minority Report type situation where it's like she punishes people before they've done something, and Khonshu at this line like only punish those who have already did stuff. The Fist of Vengeance, protect. I don't know.
It's fine.
I can't read my handwriting.
You don't have to go into that amount.
I just wrote down one quote. I can't even read my handwriting.
It's okay.
Oh, protect the vulnerable and carry out his justice. Is the line when Mark is talking to Steven. I did like, we talked last week that was almost all through Steven's perspective. I like that we got a lot through Mark's, especially with Steven being trapped. Like trapped, he's like in the mirror, then Mark even beats the shit out of the mirror at the end. Yeah, it's a very interesting dichotomy, and the villain being the previous host to Khonshu's Moon Knight. Because at first you're like, how did he know that he just said?
Because he's heard it all before.
Fist of Vengeance. He's like, he just said Fist of Vengeance, didn't he? So, and I don't care how much good he's doing for people around him. The bad guy's not a relatable character at all. No,
I don't think he's
that's
meant to be. Yeah,
well, he's doing a lot of good for the good people. He's like, we all live together in this neighborhood that used to be shitty, and here's some delicious vegan food for you. He's like, oh, you're a vegan, me too. Let's go. And he's like, you're a vegan also. because
like
he
how
knows a lot about
vegan is somehow like a good thing. I mean, I'm pretty sure I got sharp teeth to do things with, and you can't turn a lion vegan. So
minor
Futurama
tangent
joke.
related to that though. When people are vegan, I don't judge people. Do what you want to do.
No,
but it's
no.
like
Don't think you're
our
better than
body
me.
is built to consume meat and vegetables. We're herbivores.
Omnivore.
Omnivore. You're right. Omnivore. Not a vegisaurus. A herbivore. The vegisaurus, Lex. But yeah, great. I love the plot. They're trying to resurrect Ahmed, and of course he gets the scarab. So now it's kind of, I feel like the rest of the series is going to take place in Egypt, which the trailers kind of hid.
I don't know if the rest of it will. I think a good chunk will, but I mean, four episodes is a lot to go on. He's gonna end up back in.
That's right. We know he's in an insane asylum eventually.
Yeah. So well, he might be there right now, Nick. That's what I'm saying. Like some of the things that you saw in the imagery of the locker, the number might actually be his bedroom number, and the cot Mark's tell him to go to sleep on is the insane asylum bed, and he's like, take this nap so I can take over and we can try to escape type deal. There's enough changes from the comics that everything I said might be BS, but there's also enough stuff in the comics that I could see that being a path. But
keep going. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Go.
I read most of Hawkeye, the chronic. I think it has like a subtitle of like the Adventures of Bishop and Barton or something. I got that for my birthday or Christmas. I read a lot of that in the airplane when I flew to Cali this weekend. And yeah, you can see the similarities and you can see the giant differences. It's like they got this
just
from
like
this.
the rest of the MCU.
But like some of it is not like one-to-one. I guess WandaVision draws a lot from those comics, but like that was them making that run of comics into a TV show. Like this,
they
run
took, like,
make it into a TV show.
They took like 3 different runs of things to make WandaVision.
And
yeah, 3 things from like different decades even.
And Falcon and the Winter Soldier is almost entirely based off MCU history, and I don't think that book even started until the show was announced.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Sam had been Cap in the books for years,
but way after Bucky. The MCU makes its changes, and there was like the other one I read on the plane going back to Falcon and the Winter. I read all of Truth, Captain America Truth with Isaiah Bradley. And that book is fucking insane. Speaking of Moon Knight, that book is insane. It's way more complicated than Falcon and the Winter Soldier makes it out to be.
Yeah.
Like people.
Anyways.
Yeah. Ooh, do you want to do a commercial break?
Yeah, I do. I definitely want to get the bills paid. Take it away, me. I think.
Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. The Grow Generation commercial team is armed with industry-leading professional consultants. Grow Generation's team will help you fully manage any size or scale project. They offer turnkey facility designs, cultivation room design, and on-site project consultation. Go to www.growgeneration.com, where the pros go to grow.
All right, guys, thank you for excuse me, I'm gonna choke on my Sprite. Thank you for sponsoring the episode. Nick, what else do we need to talk about for this episode, man?
Okay, so it was very interesting. We finally find out what the relationship is with Layla, I think, right?
It probably depending on your accent, either way.
That was very interesting. So it seems like Mark is in control most of the time. If he's had a wife and a mother that doesn't talk to him, which was theorized in the first episode, that he's never actually talking to his mom. Maybe he bought those postcards himself. Like maybe mom is something else.
Like I said that the idea how Mark is like, oh, I'll leave you alone. You don't really know who's the primary going through Lemire's book at the beginning. So they're doing a really good job with that. And she she might actually be a different character. I'm not gonna say too much because then we're getting ahead into the asylum stuff and a trusted character that. Anyways, what else, Nick?
Well, I was also gonna talk about I wrote down one of the interesting lines based on my little knowledge of Moon Knight, because I watched New Rockstars last week, or spoilers or whatever, one of those two. I didn't even watch it this week because I don't like bringing too many of their opinions into it.
Yeah.
Even though I don't know the comic that well, it's like I want to notice stuff on my own. But they did say in the last video that he's resurrected by the god often.
Yes.
And he said, when I found you, you were practically a corpse.
He was
like he did bring him back from the dead in the MCU version also.
Yeah,
that's the comic version.
Right, and that would make sense to keep the origin similar. He's out doing mercenary work, almost dies, and
which is
Khonshu's like, hey, I need some shit being done. So
when they like show the photos to Steven, you basically see that where like it's all the slaughtered men who were looking for the Scarab or Ahmed or whatever. And now we're kind of on that chase where it's like he's got the Scarab, bad guy whose name I don't remember, but he has the best wig in the history of like Marvel, even better than Fan Four Stick. Where you can tell where the reshoots are based on Sue Storm's wig. I don't know. And here's something I really like. We did get kind of this like Ethan Hawke is compared the character to the cult leader in charge of Waco and like Carl Jung or some great philosopher.
David Koresh, and I can't remember the other person, but yeah,
famous psychiatrist / philosopher. And this you kind of saw his psychiatrist side come out as he was trying to convince him, where he's like, hey, you don't gotta do what he says, like, yeah, you're a person, he's just gonna move on and use you up, like, don't listen to Mark either, that guy's an asshole. And that was very interesting because now we are seeing that, and he seems like a very strong villain, especially since he's kind of like Venom in a way, where he knows.
You mean comic book?
Comic
right?
Venom.
Okay.
He knows a lot about him because he was the Seed before, or the only Venom reversed, where when Venom takes over Eddie Brock, he's like, I know who Spider-Man is. I was just on that dude. Where this is like, I was Moon Knight. I know exactly what this guy is saying to you. Like, don't trust him. Yeah. I follow the Minority Report goddess.
Yeah, I know, right?
I thought maybe think so hard about Minority Report, where it's like, and then the part where he's trying to convince his followers not to follow the other guy, where he's like, you're okay with murdering children?
Yes, they are. Obviously. That's the thing, man. You show someone that's had life rough enough to just make it a little bit better. They're willing to cope with a lot of crap to not go back to the way things were.
So here's a question for you. In episode 1, when he said there's chaos in you, do you think he immediately knew it was Moon Knight, even back then, since he has this history of being the former Moon Knight? He talks about voices in his head in the first episode.
I don't know if he knew. I don't think he knew Moon Knight right then and there, but potentially. Yeah. Well, until the museum, maybe.
Yeah, the Jackal attack.
Yeah. No, I'm saying the Hawk's character. I don't think when he said there's chaos in you, I don't know if he necessarily knew it was.
Definitely no. Yeah, didn't know that at that point, because then they tried to kill him, and they're like, "You're Mark," and he's like, "I'm Steven," or whatever name the security guard calls him every time. It's like, it's still Steven. Yeah.
Later on, he makes the connection and stuff. So yeah, did I answer the question then?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
You did.
Okay.
Another thing that was really weird, it'll be interesting to see if it goes anywhere, if at all, it was the statue having real eyes this time. The statue he always talks to had human eyes.
That statue was a human last time.
It was? Is it like a human statue then?
Yes, it's a living statue person.
Oh, I thought he was talking to a straight up statue.
No, that was the whole point. That's why he brought them food. No. It's
makes me think of Hot Fuzz.
it's a sign of his social issues and things, that the only person he reveal is this one that stands there and pretends to be a. Remember, he asks them to tip. Don't forget the tip.
Yeah, Mark does. I mean, Steven does, but not the human statue.
Right.
I thought that was a joke where he's like, don't forget the tip. And he's like, I'm just kidding. Like, goodbye. I'm Steven. I'm very reserved and such. And I think that's where we'll get some more, I was going to say shawarma, but charm. And
be ready for that statue guy to have a tattoo. That's all I'm saying.
Ooh.
I don't know for certain, but if I were to bet, I'd bet he does.
Like when he was taken by the cops and he's like, help, let me out. And the first person he sees is someone with a soccer ball and the tattoo. Let's see. It's exciting now that we're heading to Egypt, and now it's kind of like an Indiana Jones type race with a MacGuffin.
Potentially, yeah.
And then I don't know where it's gonna go. Obviously, I haven't even read the comic like Kyle.
Yeah, no, I'm saying it. That's a real plot. Well, maybe a race to it. Yeah.
A race to stop it. Almost
Yeah.
like a race to stop the Nazis from getting lost.
Yeah.
It was more about stopping them than it was bringing it back to the United States.
Exactly.
Yeah, obviously it's cool. The villain's plot is he wants to resurrect Ahmed, and his staff even has a slight part of her power, which is the staff he used to wakes up the jackals. And I love, because she is the god that has the crocodile head or whatever. I love when Steven calls her that. He's like, "You mean the crocodile head woman? You want to bring her back?"
Oh, they had dog head and bird heads and crocodile heads, snake heads. Egypt has a lot of really colorful deities.
Yeah, which goes back to the first episode where he's criticizing the poster. He's like, there should be 9 gods on this, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I forgot. I thought I wrote down what god she is, because Khonshu is the god of the moon. Which, pretty obvious right there. I wrote it down, but I can't find it.
Because
she's a god of us. Maybe is it just justice
she
or something?
Is just the devourer of the dead. Also, demoness and goddess. Yeah, she's the devourer of the dead. So.
And doesn't the villain say he's her first host, or like whatever Moon Knight is to
And she wasn't worshipped. She embodied all that the Egyptians feared, threatening to bind them to eternal restlessness if they did not follow the principle of Ma'at. I'm guessing. Yeah, and
yeah,
it seems like it was actually Anubis that did the judging, and she just ate them if they were judged impure.
But they've simplified it enough because we don't know anything about it.
Oh, you might see Anubis show up in this. You might.
Okay, I guess this is hard to ask you questions because you've read the comic that may or may not follow. Do you think we'll see her resurrected? Like, actually, they'll get that far and she'll come out?
I think it would be one of those where she's either resurrected and then they stop her immediately, a la Ghostbusters 1.
I was gonna reference Ghostbusters.
Or Afterlife. But
I'm not gonna get you started on Sony this time.
But what was I gonna say?
Resurrected
or she might be nerfed, so they resurrect her, but she's not full powered yet, and they're trying to feed her souls or whatever, and it goes from a race of stopping them from bringing her back to stopping her.
That was kind of my thought.
Too powerful.
And before, I'm comparing it to something I don't even like, Harry Potter, but the idea that Voldemort's not really fully back in the first 3 films, but he's like gaining power, and if you would attack him early enough, you could prevent a full comeback, which feels like a Ghostbusters-ish theme. also, though, they fail in both of them to stop
Gozer.
Zool? Gozer. Zool is one of the
Yeah.
doggies. I thought the very strong performances all around. Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hawke are crushing it. The wife kind of reminds me of the woman in Iron Fist, but she was actually one of the better parts of that show, if not the best
Colleen?
part. Yeah, Colleen. She reminds me of Colleen.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that she's so involved and knows so much, and that the god of moon is he's basically like, yeah, she's my next Mark. Like, watch the fuck out. And that's Mark's main concern too. Is he's like, if you fuck this up, I'm gonna lose her. Like, I divorced her to like be away from
save
her.
Yeah.
Which is the old typical like
old trope.
Yeah, it's like Peter Parker, where he's like, I can't be with MJ. It's like, you'll be in danger if you're. That's the ending line to like, or voiceover to the first movie. He's like, everyone, and they say this in this. Is like, everyone I love, like, gets hurt.
Yeah.
Same with
look. It's just a way of a hero or heroine freeing up their options, because they can have a whole bunch of flings if they're not tied down. I'm just whatever.
That's true. You got your Black Cat from the Marvel, Spider-Man side, and like,
yeah.
Cool. It hasn't been a long show, but do you have anything else?
Don't need to be. No,
because I think we covered everything I wrote down.
Good. It's a good show, man. I can't wait until next episode. Moon Knight has been something I've been wanting for a while. Focus, but oh well. My cousin who does like custom figures and
sweet
pops, Vinylmation, all that type of stuff. Can you focus? There you go.
That's really cool.
So she turned some Vinylmation thing into Moon Knight, and I got that.
Very nice. Like I said, I've wanted to read the run for a long time, but I don't know enough. Like, your shirt's amazing, by the way. It's half Venom, half Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Well, half black suit, half. Oh, so cool.
It's a cut.
It looks like
the cover
drawn by Todd or McFarlane.
I believe so.
Was he? I think he was the artist, right, and the writer, or was he just the? Okay.
No, I think he did both. I can't remember.
I thought so.
No,
too.
I remember the art and the books for the art, but I can't remember if he wrote.
His website had a very distinct style. So.
Yeah. And he usually does write things that he draws for too. So.
Like Frank Miller back when he was talented. But if you've read Dark Knight Returns 3, it's fucking garbage. Even though he doesn't draw it anymore.
Almost everything these days is.
Don't have old creators make new shit. I don't know. Indy 5, it's a different director, or 6, 5. It's gonna be a disaster. I'm there for it. Like. And by the way, people, Doctor Strange tickets are on sale now.
I had no problem getting any either.
I'm waiting till it's
always
free.
Funny when people say you're waiting till it's free.
Well, for me, if I buy them 7 days in advance, it applies to my movie pass, my season pass.
Okay, got it.
So I'm paying monthly, but if I wait until, I'm sure there'll be plenty of tickets for Thursday night in one of the screenings. And
I sure hope so.
Well, if anything, I'm just waiting for my next paycheck. So wait until Friday to get my tickets.
But yeah, it's exciting to see what's going to come out of that. That's another movie that scares the shit out of me.
Fuck yeah, especially with Raimi's history with multiple characters being forced on him.
Yeah, lots of
I love
cameos.
His best movie, but I don't know if Webb has shown he can, and his writers have shown that they can handle multiple characters, even before they had the crossover, where it's like, oh, you got the Tinker, the Shocker, like Scorpion, but Vulture is the main guy, and you're even working in the Thief, Miles Morales' uncle, whose
Prowler,
whose first name I'm forgetting.
Aaron something.
I think it's Aaron Morales.
That's not Morales. He's got a different last
does he?
name. Yeah. Nephew.
But he's the brother to Miles' dad.
Does that mean he's the full brother? It's Aaron Davis, if I'm not mistaken.
But yeah, great episode. This is the hardest show for me to wait week to week. Like, I watched Star Trek, I watched The Dropout, I watched the Uber show, I watched Hulu. But this is the series that's the hardest for me, where I would even bring it up. I'm like, well, even I brought it up to my room. I'm like, we should watch Oh, fuck, we can't yet. We have to wait till Wednesday to watch it, unless you're staying up till 1 a.m. with me, which he doesn't do.
No, I don't do that anymore. What I do is tell people about all the great things over at LRMonline.com every day for all of your entertainment news needs and opinions. Lots of stuff, guys. Interviews out the ass, because Gig, Nancy, and Manny had WonderCon, had all sorts of things going on. What was that, Nick?
Well, I was doing this point, and I'm like, oh, my nails are dirty.
Yeah. We also do news, rumors. Occasionally, we get our own little scoops, trailers, all sorts of things available, reviews. All there, LRMonline.com. The Genreverse Podcast Network is wherever you get your podcasts from. Lots of great shows, Anime-verse reviews, Marvel Multiverse Mayhem. You're watching that. Of course, Breaking Geek, Nick will talk about a little bit later over on our YouTube channel. Hit the red subscribe button if you haven't already. For everyone that for everyone that has subscribed already, thank you guys. Do leave comments and thumbs ups or downs to let us know what we're doing right or wrong. Either way you go. And I also do the trailer reactions and things like that on the YouTube channel as well. So yeah,
I want to mention, I think this is the best part of the channel. Not to put anyone else down. Your reactions,
thanks,
hit me so hard. I mean, Nope one is still the best, but I watch them all and I giggle like a schoolboy.
Well, thanks, Nick.
You're welcome. And I do Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast, along with this podcast Kyle and I are doing. It's the international premiere official podcast of LRM Online, whatever Jonesy calls it every week, because we're basically Los Fanboys reincarnated. Jammer's even on there if you used to love Los Fanboys. And we got our boy in Dubai, Danny, and Jonesy, who will be in South Korea soon, so he'll be back to being super international like when he was in Germany. This week we're doing Everything Everywhere All at Once, the one multiverse movie that's not connected to a comic book. And I think we're doing Sonic or Ambulance a week late, but it's possible we're doing all three this week. We're still in discussion.
Sonic comes out tomorrow. So.
Exactly, but we want to do it. We don't want to miss. No, they might. I don't have time to see 2 to 3 movies. So this week we're definitely doing Everything Everywhere All at Once, because that's a movie we've been excited about and talking about a lot leading up to it. Looks so fucking good. But and then we have a Star Trek podcast coming, hopefully after my move, so hopefully in time for Strange New Worlds. Chat's first trailer this week, if you want to check that out. Because we like Star Trek here too, even though it's not one of our categories yet.
It will be there.
Excellent. And with that, Excelsior.
Enough said.